Hello everyone and welcome to another Linux lesson. Today we will talk about how to manage users in Linux, and this is the theory part. So let's start. Linux is a multi-user operating system. The multiple accounts that can coexist in a system can also be used at the same time. Each account has a username, a unique ID, a default group, comments, a selected cell, and the home directory location. All this info is stored at this RHCSA password, and you can see it. For example, let's write let's be sudo, and then we will write tail 5 to see the 5 last entries of this file, and then adds password. And now you can see the last 5 entries of this file. If you want to see the first 5 entries, you can just write the head 5. And as you can see here, we can also see the root. It is the first entry in this file. The format is the following. It is the username. Let's see the last ones. It is the username, for example here Marvin. Then it follows a password follows, and it is an encrypted password, and we can see later on why it is an X here. Then you can see the user ID, the unique ID, then you can see the group ID, then you can see any comments here. After that we can see the home directory. You will have probably figured out that every section is separated with a semicolon, with a colon, not semicolon. And the last part is the cell to use when the user logs in. The usernames are the less than 8 characters. They are case sensitive. They are all lowercase. We will see here only lowercase inside these files. Numbers are allowed, but no special characters are allowed. The passwords now. The passwords are stored in the following file. Let's see the 5 last passwords, for example, and this will be the etc, and then shadow. As you can see, the passwords here, which is the first entry, are encrypted, and they are hash codes. They are hashed. It is an encryption method, and they are only readable by sudoers and admins. For example, if I am a normal user and I press the command tail 5 and then the etc shadow, as you can see, tail cannot open this for reading because permission is denied. It is only readable by sudoers and admins. Now we can see here the first entry here is the encrypted password. The second entry is the number of days since the January 1970, since the password has been changed. The third one is the number of the days before a pass can be changed. The next one is the number of the days after which a pass must be changed. If we have here 5 times the 9, like here, it means that the user never has to change his password. And the next one is the number of the days to warn the user that the password will expire. The next one is the number of days that after the pass has expired, the account is disabled. And the next one is the number of days since January 1970 that an account has been disabled. And the last one is just reserved for the future use. As you can see here, the last 3 are empty, so you can just leave something empty, and you don't have to worry about the value. Now about the password encryption. As you can see here, the hash code starts with the dollar symbol. If you have a symbol and then a number, for example 6, it means that this encryption method is the SHA. For 512, like here. It is a 512 bits encryption. If the number here is a 5, then the encryption method is the SHA 256. If it is a 2A, it is a blowfish, and if it is a $1, it is an MD5 encryption. The UID, the unique ID, now the root is always unique ID 0, and they are unique numbers. The system accounts have a unique ID of less than 1,000. And then we have the group ID. The group ID is the default group for an account. When we create a new file, it belongs to the user's default group. Users can switch groups with a new group command. For example, before we create a file, we can write new group, and then the name of the group, for example, test group, and then the next file that I will create, it will be placed under this group. Other than that, every user has its own groups, and the file that I will create will go to one of them. The comments now. The comments are normally the user's full name or the phone number, the user's phone number, and they are also called the geckos field. It is more historical. The home directory. When a user logs in, he is placed to his home directory, and if it doesn't exist, they are placed in the root directory. And the shell, the last one, it is being executed when the user logs in. A list of available shells, you can see if you type vim etc and shells. Let's try this out. As you can see, we have installed here in this Ubuntu system the S8, the bus, the airbus, and the DAS. These are the available cells on this system. Now, how can you create a new account? Just by type the user add, then any options that you would like. For example, C for a comment, and then the comment, or M if you want that the user has an own home directory, and DAS cell with a cell path, for example, bin bus, and then you can know that this user will run on the cell bus, on the bus as a cell, and then the name of the user, for example, new user 100. This will be his name. Other options are the dash G, the small g, not the capital one, which defines a group, a default group. For example, let's say marketing or sales, it will be the default group for a user. And if you type the capital G, dash G, then you can specify more than one groups. You can type as many as you want, actually. If you type the dash R, then you can create a system account, and the system account we have already said that the unique ID it is less than 1,000, and it's for users like to run an application like the Apache, for example. You can also apply the dash U that sets a specific unique ID to the account. For example, if we want an SQL account and we have 3 different servers, then we can put the slash the dash, for example, dash 95 as unique ID for all 5 servers in the SQL, and then these 5 servers can communicate easier. How can we assign a password to an account? Because okay, we create an account, but we can't use the account yet if we don't set a password for it. In order to set a password, let's say that we created before a user, a new user 100. This was the name. Then, in order to put a password into this account, we need to write password, PASSWD, and then the username. For example, a new user 100. Then we press enter, and then the system asks us to type twice the same password, the password for this user. And there are some methods that we can apply so that the user, the moment that the user logs in, will be asked to change his password, and then the admin doesn't know his password. The user will be the only one that knows his password. If we want now to delete an account, in order to delete an account, we just use the user del, and then there's an optional dash R, and then the username, for example, new user 100, and then the user will be deleted. If we use the dash R, it also deletes the user home directory and mails account if it exists. Else it remains intact after the deletion of the account, along with all its files. For example, if we don't use the dash R, if this user has 100 images into his directory, everything will stay intact. Nothing will be deleted. But if we use the dash R, all of his files and belongings will be deleted along with the account. Now, how can we update or modify an existing account? This is also simple. We just type the user mode, and then the options that we want. For example, we want to modify the comment from this user, and let's say new comment here, and then the username. For example, new user 100, and then if you press enter, it will be updated. You can change using the specific option, the comment, the group, the groups, the cell path, and so on. This was it for today. Pretty much theory, and for the next lesson I will try to demonstrate everything at the terminal, so that we can create together some users. We will modify the users, we will delete the users, we will try to log in, log out with these users, and if we have enough time, then I will try to demonstrate you an ethical password hacking example. For example, if you want to hack a password from a user in your system for penetrating issues reasons, for example, if you want to check if some users don't have a strong password and you want to warn them to change the password, then you, as an administrator, you can hack the passwords and then warn the users that they should change these passwords, because you were able, as a hacker, to enter their account and hack their belongings. If we don't have enough time to do that the next time, then I will find for sure the time to make a separate lesson and talk about some penetration techniques where you can hack passwords. And yeah, as I said, only for penetration reasons, because it is ethical hacking, not something to harm or something illegal. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them on the comment section below, or just send me a message. Thank you all for watching.